Are we ready? We're off. So, yes, so I am a cooking coach, a sort of people with disabilities, chronic conditions, and it sort of came from, I worked in financial services for 20 years. So exciting. And then my health deteriorated quite dramatically. I lost my job, and then for a number of years, things weren't great at all. And cooking became my sort of therapy, but to start with, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it how I used to, and it was so frustrating. And I wanted to cook so I could be a bit more part of the family, a bit more visible, a bit more there, because I'd missed so many things. And it was so frustrating because it's just nothing was happening. I couldn't do it mentally, physically, I just couldn't cook. So I thought, right, there's all these barriers coming down. How am I going to get around these barriers? So my family and I, we took ages sort of working. What is it that's causing all these problems? And every time I get to another one. Right, so I basically destroyed all the barriers in the end. It took about 6 months to work through it all. And then wrote my cookbook, which is there, which is really designed to say all the things that I found difficult. This is here. So it's basically giving things permission to use frozen, ready chopped stuff and say, that's actually a really great thing. I'll talk more about that as we do. And it ended up being this sort of pull-up thing, which is my 12. I'll talk about a few of them as we go through this. They won't make a lot of sense to you at the moment. But basically, it's the kit bag, I guess, of cooking. So today I might need 3 of them. Tomorrow I might need 5 of them because every day is different. So it's about giving people the tools, which could be physical equipment, it could be how you use ingredients, it could be how you are, how you approach cooking, and how you're feeling every day. So what I do here today, I might not be able to do tomorrow. But if I've got another way of doing it, then I can still achieve it. And that's really what we're trying to do. So stemmed from there into, do you do demos? And I was like, of course I do. Never done one before, but we'll give it a crack. It wasn't very good, but it sort of went from there. And now I'm working with charities and hospitals and all over the place doing cooking courses and demonstrations for people across all sorts of things. And it's just about giving, I think if you ask anyone, is eating healthily a good thing? They go, yes. But if you can't cook, or you don't want to cook, or you feel you can't cook, then trying to cook healthy is just not going to happen. So you'll go straight for what you want to do, which is ready meals or takeaways, etc., because it's easier and sometimes could be cheaper, which is not great. But if you don't feel you can do it, so how do we bridge that gap? So I'm trying to bridge the gap that I had to do myself to help people say, actually, there are different ways you can cook, to help you cook. And then if you can do cooking repeatedly and enjoyably, no matter how you're feeling, then that's got to be a good thing. And then you can start thinking about healthy. So today, in 20 minutes, I'm going to make 3 things. I'm going to make spiced carrot falafels. They're delicious, honestly. I'm going to make a thing called jeweled rice, which just uses a packet of rice as its main thing. And then I'm going to do a sort of tzatziki type dip to go with it. And all made from scratch in 20 minutes. Let's see what happens, shall we? This can only go wrong. So I'm going to start with the falafels because I need to get them in the oven. Now, you probably saw this thing in the other room. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. So for me, where I have my whole right side doesn't work as well as my left-hand side. So I find I'm chasing balls around the kitchen because I'm trying to stir and I can't hold it very well. So this thing for me is great because once it's on and I anchor things onto it, then it's not going anywhere. And I can just quite happily stir with one hand or put things in with one hand. But it does so many other things, of course. So carrot falafels need carrot because they're carrot falafel. And I'm using ready grated carrot. People go, why aren't you grating your own? It's because I can't, and it hurts, and it's really difficult, and I don't know how much will be carrot and how much will be fingers that's gone in it. So if you need to buy grated carrot, buy grated carrot because it helps. And if it gets you past that barrier of, I can't make this because it's got grated carrot, I can't grate carrot. So buy a bag of stuff. And if it costs a bit more, that's fine. So I've used 1 bag to make 2 lots here, but you can freeze this stuff. You can just keep it in the freezer and it's there for you when you need it. And all the way through, I'll be talking about certain things like smart ingredients, things that you can have that will help you, give you a kickstart, particularly when you're struggling with, when mentally, brain fog, etc., but also physically. So carrot goes in, and you'll see I measure everything very, very carefully. In it goes. So carrot and then chickpeas. Now, cans I hate because they're so hard to try and open, especially when I'm right-handed and it doesn't work very well, so it's really difficult. So I use this one, the sort of golf club hockey stick thing, if I'm feeling reasonably okay, and you sort of pop it like that, and then you just literally pop it open, and it's so easy to do. If I'm really struggling, I think you saw one in there, I use this one, which is the one-handed, one-touch, stick it on top, it goes around. But it doesn't work on ring pulls, you have to turn the can the other way up. It's amazing how I, for ages, thought, well, that's not going to work. Didn't think about the bottom of the tin, because you don't. So basically, I've lost my little bowl. Where's my little dribbly bowl? There it is. So I'm just going to drizzle out that chickpea water. If you ever feel the urge to make vegan meringues, have you had the urge to make vegan meringues? No, me neither, but that works. That does it if you want to. So I'm just going to chuck the whole can in of chickpeas. In we go. And then here I've got 2 spices, well 4 really, but I've got cumin and coriander. And you often have spices. How many spices have you got in your cupboards that you don't know how old they are? I mean, some are older than me and I have no idea how we got them, but they're in there and they're probably not great to use. So actually being able to use things like ground coriander, ground cumin, if you just want to zing anything up, just put a little bit in. It's fantastic. And just experiment with it. Often you'll buy these because you need them for one thing. Like all of this stuff, you buy it and then you've got lots of bits. So actually think, would that go in it? Give it a try. Who makes the rules? Break them. That's what they're, why not? It's about enjoying it. And what's the worst that can happen? Tastes awful. But you tried, and that's the main thing. So I'm going to put a bit of coriander and a bit of cumin. I've got fresh coriander in something else as well. Does anyone hate coriander? So fresh coriander, I learned, is that there's a genetic thing which makes you either like it or hate it. So there's a gene that you carry, certain people carry, that fresh coriander tastes like soap. Did it? Wow. Wow, isn't that weird? Wow, that's handy. I didn't go the other way, otherwise you'd be in real trouble. Yeah, so coriander, often I'm doing these things as, oh no, not coriander, but like you're okay. And then these little tubes are one of the best things that I have in my fridge. So trying to do fiddly things like onion, like ginger, like garlic are so hard if your hands aren't working, but also if your brain's not functioning, it's very dangerous. So I have these, and they're just tubes that you can buy in any supermarket, and you just take away that barrier of, I can't do that. But you get chili, you can get lemongrass, all sorts of stuff. Now the thing with these tubes is, most of them are okay, but some of them have additives in. And then if you're happy with that, it's fine. But the jar ones you can get are no additives. All they've got is a bit of oil in. You can also buy them in the frozen section, ready chopped, and then have them in your freezer. So they're great things to have. And again, all of this stuff, grating carrot, putting ginger and garlic in, would have taken me probably a day and feeling completely knackered. But now I can just sort of power through and we're off. And I'm enjoying it. So as you can see, carefully measured. Fine. What can go wrong? And then in here, I've just got basically, I say the recipe's there and it's on my website with that QR code, so you can download it if you need to. It's just basically some baking powder and some corn flour. And that's gone in. In it goes. And that is it. So I'm just going to take this over here, give it a quick whiz. Now, what I should have said at the very beginning was, please stop me if you want to ask me anything, or you think, what are you doing that for, or what does that mean? Just shout. It's better to have a conversation about it rather than wait until the end. So if there's anything you want to just interject, saying, why are you doing that, or how do you do this, or how do you tell people that, please just ask. Okay, don't feel you have to wait, just go for it. I'll just ignore you, but hey. Now, in you go. There we go. Now this little blender is one of my favorite little things because it's so small. So again, it's just something I got off Amazon, but I've got a family of 4 and I can use this for a family of 4 very happily, but I can also move it easily. So I talk about things like widening your kitchen. So actually I can do this at a table somewhere else quite happily. And you don't have to be here. And whereas a great big process, you're sort of lugging the thing around, you can't do it. So actually this is just a really helpful little kit. It's not designed particularly for anything, it's just I find it really helpful. You also, when you get it, you get 2 dishes and 2 blades. Also, it has 2 blades. So, when you're whizzing stuff up and the bottom gets all whizzed and the top doesn't, it's just got 2. I mean, it's really clever. They don't tell you about all of that stuff. Anyway, there we go. Now, carrot falafels, I've got to get these in the oven. So again, you could put whatever you like in this. Go spicy, put some hummus in, put some chili in, whatever you like, put it in. If you don't like it, don't put it in. I'm amazed at how many, and I've done this so many times, you follow a recipe and you put stuff in that you don't like. Why am I doing that? Because it tells you to. Well, just ignore it and do what you like. So I know, who's got cookbooks at home? Lots of cookbooks, maybe. And how many of those recipes in the book do you actually make? Couple? Exactly. Because you can't please everybody with everything. So I don't know what you like and you don't know what I like. But actually, also all the recipes I do, and you'll see it on there, it tells you how you can change it, how you can make it different, what you can change the recipe. Because I'm a terrible one for, I like making this and I know people will eat it, so I just keep making it. And then everyone gets a bit bored with it and you get bored with cooking it. So actually, if there's ways you can tweak it and change it without too much trouble, like a bolognese, you can turn it into 15 different things just with one addition here, one addition there. A bit of chipotle paste, it becomes tacos. You know, there's just so many ways you can do things differently rather than thinking you have to completely invent new dishes, which I find quite difficult. And I write the recipes for magazines and you have to think, and it's hard. Although I have to say, things like ChatGPT, very good for things like that. AI, I'm a bit skeptical of, but for cooking, you've got something in, you say, what can I make with this? It's very good. Right, if I don't get this in, you're not getting anything. So I need to get this in. So I'm going to make jeweled rice. Has anyone had jeweled rice before? No, good. So you don't know what it's supposed to look like. Fantastic. Now, actually, on that, one of the things I do say to people is, and it's really, really important, is that whatever you make is right. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it looks different to what you did yesterday. It doesn't matter if it tastes different. It's right. So we could all have these ingredients here today. We could all make the same thing. None of them would look the same. And who's right, who's wrong? We're all right, or we're all wrong. But the point is, don't let that bit at the end where you're a bit deflated about what it looks like destroy the fun you've had doing it, because that'll just kill your love for cooking. So whatever you make is right. I have done the mother of all whatever you make it's right disasters live on television. So as you heard, I went on Sunday brunch and I was so lucky to get it. And I was one of my favorite programs and I got to cook live on television. I was petrified, but I did it. And I was making a chickpea burger with various things from the book. And all I had to do, most of it was already prepared. All I had to do was put the burger on at the beginning of the session and then halfway through turn it over. And then everything else would be done. Sounds easy. So I put it on, started chatting to the host, and we were having such a great conversation. I said, oh God, I've got to turn the burger over. So I went to the hob, the camera right over the top, because it's live television, and I flipped it. I didn't look, and I heard this, and I thought, what the heck's happened? And I looked down, and it was burnt to a crisp. I mean, it was absolutely gone. And I was like, you can't get out of it, it's live. And I was looking at all the celebrity guests. I thought, oh no, this is terrible. My daughter was there with me. What do I do? And I thought, right, I'm styling this. It's not cremated. It's caramelized. And off we went. And they went, yeah! And it was like, but that could have killed my whole experience if I'd let it. But I was determined it wasn't going to. So yeah, I burnt it, but they had other ones made. It didn't matter. So it was fine. I mean, I wouldn't suggest you do that live on television, but it does show us that if you change your philosophy a bit, the fact that I was there is what was important, not the fact that I burnt something. And mistakes happen constantly at home. I'm always making mistakes. I did one earlier, and I've just done it again now. I was supposed to put the timer on, forgot. Happens. We all do it. So what do? Well, you just go with it and see what happens. Although a while back, I'd have got, that's it, I'm not doing this, I hate it. It's gone wrong. But now it's like, well, hey, what's the worst? I just might get cremated. Who cares? Exactly. Caramelized is a great word for everything. That's right. Exactly. It's what it's supposed to look like that. Right, so we're going jeweled rice. Packet of rice. Microwave rice. Always have one in my cupboard or two, because if I'm really struggling, I can start with this. 2 minutes, microwave. I've got the starter of something. And rice, I'm going to show you how you can turn it into the most delicious meal on its own. So I've just cooked it, and you can get all sorts of different flavors of rice. That's the great thing. And yes, it might cost you a little bit more up front, but when you really need it, to have this in your cupboard, it's just such a great thing to be able to do. So you can just get kick started. So I'm just going to get that rice broken up. And all we're going to do is start by adding some fresh herbs. Now, often you'll buy, like I've done here, you buy fresh herbs and I need about that much of it. What do you do with all that lot? Because it's complete waste and it's expensive. So one of the things I do is use my ice cube trays a lot. So if you've got any left over, just stuff them in with a little bit of water, cram them in as much as you can, a bit of water and freeze them, and you've got ice cube herbs. So they can drop them in a stew, you can drop them in anything, and they're just there and you're not wasting them. Also things like lemon zest, lime zest. If you feel you can zest another one and put it in your ice cube tray, because there's going to be days when you can't. So just remember what's in what though. You know, you don't want to get the old mojitos out and you put some bit of coriander. Yeah, it'd be lovely. But you can do so many things in ice cube trays, and it stops wasting stuff. And it's so expensive to go and buy these all the time. So coriander, thankfully you all like coriander. Things like fresh herbs. So coriander, this bit, often people don't use the stalks, but the stalks are where all the flavour is. Yeah, that's actually where it is. The leaves actually haven't got much in them. It's the stalks in these that's where you get all the flavour, with basil. And also, if you're using fresh herbs or something, don't chop it. Because if you chop it with a knife, it gets bruised and it goes bitter. So if you use your hands and just rip it, it doesn't do it. And you chuck it on the floor like that as well. And just rip it. And also, it's a bit more tactile. It also starts to smell as well. It's great. So you just literally rip it and use the stalks. I do it. I used to do it. I thought, well, get rid of it. I know, pick them all away. But actually, don't. Then I've got some chives. So chives are sort of oniony. They're great because they're a bit. I find a lot of people who have chronic illnesses, etc., struggle with onions and tomatoes as well. But actually, these are a lot softer. If you do struggle with things like chives, just leave it out. Or you can put things like onion powder is a bit better. And there's a thing called, have you ever heard of asafoetida? No, I hadn't either. But it's a sort of spice. It smells disgusting. It's horrible. But actually, it's a great. They use it in the Middle Eastern cookery a lot, and it's a great replacement for things like onion, etc. So if you're doing vegetarian dishes or vegan dishes, you get some, and it just comes like this. Get asafoetida, put it in, it just lifts it. It's unbelievable stuff. Don't smell it. You'll never go. Well, you probably could, because you can't smell it anymore. But it's evil. Honestly, but it's just wonderful stuff. And then lastly, a bit of mint. And now with mint, you don't want that bit. So you're all right, you don't want that because it's all woody, stalky stuff. So you just want to literally just rip the leaves off. And what I find, particularly when I'm struggling with brain fog, is by using your hands, it just helps to lift the senses a little bit. It makes you feel a little bit like I'm doing something. Whereas if you're just using spoons all the time, it's a bit detached. So I love getting my hands in. I have washed them, and I have disinfected myself. Now, next to go in, I'm going to go a bit weird, and you think, what the heck's gone wrong? Pomegranate seeds. The jeweled bit, jewels. See, there's method in the madness. And you chuck them in. I have a strange relationship with pomegranate seeds, going back to when I was 19 with gin involved. But I've got over that and I'm fine now. So pomegranate seeds, again, what they do is they start to change the colour of it and make it look a bit more interesting. Just put that back on. And then I've got some mango and rice. But if you think about it, in Southeast Asia and Middle East, there's a lot of fruit, and it just changes the whole way that you eat this and approach it. So I've got ready chopped. Again, if I had to try and prepare a mango here, we'd be here till about 10, and I'd probably end up fingers missing. So if you need to buy it, get it. If it helps, use it, rather than just not getting it or not cooking. So pre-prepared stuff, ready chopped stuff, get it. And frozen food, frozen ready chopped is the best thing ever. So onion, ready chopped onion. If you've got vegetables, it's just great stuff. And it's actually fresher than the fresh that you get in a supermarket, because they're both picked at the same time. Frozen is then frozen day one. The fresh gets to the supermarket day two, but it's actually a day older by the time you get the frozen one. So actually there's nothing wrong with them. I remember the old days, they were slippery, slimy, weird things, but now it's great quality. So buying frozen stuff also means you only use what you need and you don't waste anything. So it's great. Now these knives, I think you probably saw in there. And you get these knives, they're absolutely fantastic and I love them. And they're so great because you feel a bit safer. I feel safer with them, but also I can control them much, much better. And actually now my kids, when they're cooking, use them as well partly because I haven't got any other knives, but and I'm just going to chop it roughly. We're not Michelin-starred chefs here. We're just going to chuck that in nice and chunky as well. We want it to be seen, we want it to be visible. Let's chuck another bit on the floor. Hey, you'll know I'm quite a messy cook, but that's all right. Now, lastly, to go in, I've just got some, I'm going bells and whistles here. You don't have to put all this in. But I've got some toasted seeds and some flaked almonds. Again, a bit of crunch, a bit of texture. But this sort of dish, what have you got in, then use it. So it's a great way of using up stuff in the store cupboard, in the fridge. And all you've done is taken a packet of microwave rice, and all of a sudden it's changed into actually almost a complete dish. If you don't like seeds and nuts, or you want to change it, put dried cranberries, whatever you like in there. whatever you've got, use it. Ooh, you don't want the lid, that's never a good thing. A little bit of olive oil, not much. And then the last thing is just a lemon. So lemons, again, things with zesting. I've got the sort of traditional zester, and I don't know whether you saw in there, there's these palm peelers and palm zesters that you can get, which are fantastic. You can also get these little microplaners as well, which are a lot easier to use. But if you have only got one of these, there's a couple of things you can do. One is that hook is great. You just pop it over the edge and you've anchored it down. So it just keeps it from slipping. You see them on TV doing all this sort of stuff. Can't do that. It's too dangerous. So you can go that way, or best thing is to just put it on the board, hold it down and go. And it just keeps, it takes a bit longer, but it's a lot safer and a lot more comfortable. And with zesting, I find a lot of people go too deep with the zesting. So if you go past that white bit, it gets really bitter. So you just want the top layer, that's all. And you'll smell it change actually. And all I'm going to do is just zest. Now again, I might not be able to zest like this tomorrow because my hands aren't working, my brain's not working. But if I know I've got some in that ice cube tray, it means I can go and get them out, pop them in, put it in frozen, put the ice cube in, and let it melt itself in. You know, you don't need to wait, just chuck it in. And then mix it up because the rice is warm anyway. It works with cold rice as well. And then we're just going to tap that out, and we go. So any bits you've got extra, just put them in the ice cube tray. And say if you don't use them for cooking, you've got them for drinks. If you are going to do things like sometimes I'll put like chili in or some salsa I've made, you do really need to remember which is which is very hard sometimes to do. So you don't know what you're going to get. It's a bit of a lottery, but hey. And then lastly, just some juice. And again, juicing can be very difficult. So you can either get, obviously, traditional things like that where you push, and then you can use a fork or a spoon. I found this quite recently, which is about £2 on Amazon. And it's so great. It catches the pips. You literally just push it down. You don't even have to twist very much. You just push it and it catches all the pips and all the juice goes in the bottom. Like that. And then you just tip it out there and it looks like you're chefing. You can have a little wiggle. And I'm just going to mix that up. And this is jeweled rice. And the longer you leave it, the more the herbs and everything will get together. I'm just going to turn that off, otherwise I can't get it off. And then that is ready to go. Does anyone want a job? No? Another job? Anyone fancy a job? So just put that in here. Anyone have a go? Then you can just all of it. Just cover it. Then I can blame you if it's not nice. Yeah, so just chuck it in. And again, it's just about, imagine this is like a little centerpiece. You've got a few people coming around or just for a lunch or a dinner, whatever. All of a sudden you've got something that it's just a packet of rice that's turned into something a bit more. And you can just play with it and do whatever you like and have some fun with it. And one packet of rice will go a long, long way just because we're using stuff that we've got from different areas. So this is, again, this is jeweled rice. The falafels are going. I'm just going to make a little dip now to go with it. A dip, a drizzle, call it what you want. We're just going to have that because they tend to knit everything together. So this would be delicious with just rice and falafel, but a bit dry. So a little dip, and there's just 3 things in it: yogurt, mint, and cucumber. If you don't like cucumber, leave it out, just yogurt and mint. If you don't like mint, just have yogurt. So again, it's just something that you can have, and it just looks great and it feels great. So I'm going to make a little dip, if I can find my thing. There it is. Well done. Thank you very much. Look at that, you can claim all the credit for it now. Well done. So again, you've just got some Greek yogurt, and I'm hoping by the time I get to this, the falafels are ready. And then I've got some of these little mini cucumbers. Just, again, it's for ease. So when I want to chop something small, if they start small, it's easier. And again, these are great because the kids love them as well because they're different and they're a bit of fun. But if you're using a large cucumber, then the best thing to do with large cucumbers for things like this is to cut them but take the inside watery bit out, because it just makes everything go a bit there. It's fine if you want to leave it in, but the good thing about these is they start small and it's a lot easier. And I'm just going to cut them up, and really you don't want them too small that they disappear, but you don't want them too big that they're not actually a dip anymore. They're like a stew. We don't want stews, so we want them to be chopped up. But again, we go out to a cafe or a restaurant to eat food that other people have made. When you're making it yourself, just go with it, just enjoy it. And hopefully people can start to really enjoy cooking, and the fact that actually I think I could do that. I'm not a trained cook. I just love it. And it's about just enjoying the fact that you're having a go, and just using ingredients that are actually quite healthy, but tastes great. And hopefully when you taste this, you'll think, actually, I think I could do that, but I would change this to that or this to this, which is the whole point. A little bit of mint. Again, I'm just going to take off some leaves. And again, we've got mint in the rice, so you don't want too much. And again, no stalks or anything. In that goes. Ready for another job? Or have you done your work for tonight? You ready to go for another one? Right, so if you can beautifully and artistically do go Jackson Pollock, just go, just throw it at it. It will be fun. Has it gone off? Excellent. Oh, enjoy your meal, that's cool. Let me check. There, all right, I'll do. Yeah, that's fine, thank you. So we're just going to do, yeah, just have a throw. Channel it in a, well, no, don't actually, don't do your gun, no. No. Keep a little bit back. I told you that now. I'll do. Well done, thank you. And then your last job. Now, with the falafels, because there's quite a bit of water in them, what you would do if you're making these at home is probably put the mix in the fridge for about an hour before you cook it. These freeze, so these freeze as in the raw mix or this mix. So if you've got any left over, you can freeze them, and then they're great. And you can do all sorts of funny things with them, whatever you like. Actually, this mix is a great topping for like a cottage pie, something like that, instead of potato. So it gives you that extra different flavors. It's about using things in a slightly different way. So I'm just going to put these on top, and then you can have a final flourish. They're a little bit squishy, but that's okay. I say a little bit squishy. They're very squishy. That's all right. What we do then is, instead of them falafels, they are, what would you call them? Let's call them lodgers. Yeah, and the good thing is no one knows what you're supposed to be making. So, yeah, obviously these need a bit longer. I didn't realize the oven had gone off, but that happens. It happens all the time. And you might want them a bit crispier, but it doesn't matter. You can pretend these are chicken nuggets, get your kids to try them. They won't believe a word you say after it, but don't worry about it. And then you can then have a final flourishy drizzle over the... Yeah, go for drizzly, yeah. And then, that's what's bad, I did it in about 20 minutes. And then you can have a go, have a try. So there's rolls there. If you don't want it, please don't worry. It's absolutely fine. I've gone for stuff which is a little bit healthy, which is, you know, as you can tell, I eat all the time. That's the recipe, yeah. So if you scan that, it'll take you straight to my website, and there is you can download it, or you can just take a picture of that if you want. And then I put stuff up online every day. I do cooking demos and workshops for all over the place, either 2-hour ones, 1-hour ones, just to help people sort of learn how to cook. Have a try, tell me what you think. If you hate it, love it, I don't mind, it's good. And there's things you might try yourself, have a go at. Go for it. Make sure you get a bit of the old dribbly dribbles as well, because it was so artistically, beautifully done. You'd probably do with a bigger spoon, really, shouldn't you? One thing I also forgot to put in the rice was sweet corn, because it's there. But hey, there you go. I can sprinkle a bit on, another jewel, but you know, it happens. And it's just about, you know, I'll go with it. Have a little crack. I say this is a full meal made from scratch in 20 minutes. Now, yes, you take a bit longer. You wouldn't be as messy throwing stuff around, well, you would. But it just shows you what's possible if you've got a few things in. And if the herbs you've got are in the freezer, you can still do it. And if I'm feeling rubbish, I know I could start with some rice and I can do something. And that's still cooking. It's not cheating. It's absolutely cooking. We're cooking. So just give it a little try, see what you think. You don't have to pretend to like it. It's fine. And you could use lime, you could use lemon or orange. Use whatever you like. You can spice it up, zing it up, do whatever you like with it. So you could use the whole lemon, half. You've got a big lemon and whatever. I'll put this over here for you. Do you want to try a little bit? Yeah.
And for all these reasons, I like.
Yeah.
And I buy it frozen. It's my hobby.
Yeah. I know.
Because the onion is dry.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 Exactly. It's just giving yourself a head start that would stop you otherwise. And you might not like the what's in it. Change it. If you don't like the mango in it, change it for something else. Leave it out. Likewise, if you want to put other stuff in, dried fruits, whatever you fancy, change the herbs. If you don't like coriander, use basil. You know, there's lots of different things you could do. The falafels, you could zing them up with all sorts of stuff. You know, put some chili in, whatever. I'm struggling with this, or can you help me with that? Just all the messages come to me, so I'll just try and help. And then we can also turn it into helping other people because they've probably got the same thing. So it's just about, you know, trying to find ways to get around all these barriers that you think that's stopping me, so I can't get around it. Well, maybe we can.
Yeah, it's really handy for our clients to have you can give them like leaflets on things that are helpful.
Yeah.
I think without having that person to say, so you can do this, and
Yeah.
you can do this. We don't always, I mean, I do, like,
Yeah.
do obviously problem solve. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like, we don't know everything.
No.
So I think directing them to someone like you, like,
It's okay.
I've learned stuff back in the family. Loads of barriers to me.
Yeah.
So
We all
there's
have them.
barriers for me, and it's hard then to
Exactly.
say to other people.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky to be in this amazing accessible kitchen. I haven't got one at home, so I do a lot of my kitchen prep at the dining table because I find it more comfortable, and I have the music playing and, you know, sing along. I have a thing on there called Cookfulness playlist on Spotify. I've got a Cookfulness playlist which is hilarious. So if you want to have a laugh and see my music choices, go and have a look. But it's a list of music that I want to cook to, the music I like. There's no breakup songs. There's nothing like that in there. It's all happy stuff. And so tonight when I get in my car, the first song that comes on the radio will go on the playlist because it reminds me of this. And it's just about giving yourself uplifting music to think about. And I really believe in making the kitchen a bit of a theatre. It can be very sterile, very functional. So I just go nuts in the kitchen. I'll sing, I'll do all sorts of stuff. And it's great. Why not? You like it? You did it. It was your flourish that made it all happen. Thank you very much. Again, it's chuck it stuff, and I love that sort of stuff. As long as you know what you can start with, you know, all I've used is a blender and a bowl, really. Microwave the rice and falafels in the oven, even though it went off. But hey, that's it. Anything you want to ask or anything you want to do, if you can't think of anything now and you think of something on the way home, because I'm good at that, just drop me a message. In your goodie bag is a little leaflet on what I do, and there's an email address on there. So just if you want to ask me anything, or whatever, please do. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Round of applause for Ian, please.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.